I am Sue Copeland of Priddey Marketing.
My name is Sarah McCloughry, Anrah Development Limited.
As you know, we're doing a project on women in university spinouts, so we're particularly interested to hear about your advice to early career founders for their approaches to marketing.
I'll take this one, shall I, Sarah?
Good idea.
Yeah, I think one of the first things when I'm meeting people who are usually highly intelligent, highly immersed in their innovation, and I ask them, so tell me about who this will benefit. One of the warning signs is if someone says it'll benefit everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's an issue because from a marketing perspective, that dilutes your message and certainly dilutes your marketing budget if you try to sell something to the world. You need to be very clear on who's your first ideal client and really niche and market to that individual. Be going as deep as possible, getting to know that person and what motivates them and how what you're doing can help them.
And your investor is going to be asking you to do that too.
Absolutely. So that would be one of the first steps. I think the other thing is often they're very used to researching their innovation and taking it through, the trials, testing, bringing it toward the point when we can commercialise. But again, linked to that, not sure who the market is, they can overlook the research that's involved to actually find out if there is a market for the innovation. There are instances I've known of with clients where they've assumed there's a market, or they've managed to get one particular client to buy and assumed there'll be a second one without doing any research. And of course that isn't necessarily the case. And linked to your ideal client, doing your research is quite critical.
Yeah, a former student was inspired after her work at the UN to look at what was the biggest killer of infants in the world, and she discovered it was pneumonia, and so she evolved a healthcare innovation around the mobile phone that could detect a very hard condition to be able to discern in pneumonia. And then she commercialized it and attracted a great deal of investment for that innovation by targeting the elderly in nursing homes. So in order to be able to be clear about your customer, be willing to flex your approach so that the application doesn't necessarily fit just one customer sector.
But you can see that those two examples, the marketing will be quite different. Marketing to help with infants as opposed to nursing care. The way you reach those two different types of market are different, and you can't do them at the same time, and that's the mistake that a lot of businesses make. So I would say that's important. And also the third thing would be getting your message right so that non-technical experts can understand what it is you do.
Away from the passive to the active voice, we did this, we are doing that. And also from this is what we have achieved to this is what we're going to achieve.
Telling stories if you get the chance. But in the first instance, when you go out into the commercial environment, you need to be prepared for people going, I don't understand. I don't know what that does. I don't, so what? So thinking that through is a very useful thing to do as soon as possible in the process, rather than getting a couple of years into your commercialisation and then still not quite getting that messaging right. So in those cases, for marketing purposes, if you're going out and you're taking your innovation to a commercial market, it would be being very clear about your first ideal client. Do your research, do your customer research, ask people around you if they understand what you do is a very good first step. It's always very enlightening. And also making sure that you've really honed your message for the non-technical market.